I've got a complaint, but is it a complaint or something else? By Bonnie Dickson. Consumers are not always happy with service providers, whether that service provider is a grocery store, a mechanic, or any of the 1,001 other providers out there. Included in that list are medical providers. In most instances of unhappiness, consumers show their displeasure by complaining to a manager or all their friends, expressing their feelings on social media, giving a 1-star review, and bemoaning the fact that they can't give 0 stars or by not shopping somewhere anymore. It's tougher, though, if your complaint is with a medical provider like a hospital, a nursing home, or a doctor. For one thing, there's no satisfaction with boycotting a business that you only frequented because you have no choice. The ambulance doesn't make a U-turn because you refused service from the hospital down the street that treated you poorly the last time or charged you outrageously for a simple procedure or even worse. So there has to be options for handling. Yes, it's still possible to use social media, badmouth the system to your friends, and even complain to the manager for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, CMS, provides other options. It's important to recognize that if the medical provider you have a complaint about participates in any government funded programs, repeated complaints or grievances can cost those providers by making it possible for them to be dropped from programs and may also cause them additional problems with insurers. In that way, medical providers want to resolve your complaint before that complaint results in negative change to their credentials. So you have some pull in an environment that can seem like you have none. The first step to resolving an issue with a medical provider is to understand something about the process. And the first step in doing that is to recognize some terms. Grievance and complaint are two words that are often used interchangeably, but have vastly different meanings with government programs. CMS defines a complaint as something that can be resolved with the patient within 24 hours. Complaints may be handled by something as simple as offering a blanket, requesting housekeeping, serving food or a beverage, or by providing an explanation. CMS guidelines require that facilities should address a patient's expectation of care and service in a timely, reasonable, and consistent manner. Complaints are informal, usually do not require a written response, and CMS expects that facilities have a process in place to address and comply with requests. A grievance, on the other hand, can involve formal, informal, written, or verbal complaints involving the patient or the patient's representative in which the complaint is not resolved at the time of the complaint. Remember the above mentioned 24-hour time frame. The complaint becomes a grievance when the complaint cannot be handled by staff present, requires investigation and or further actions. A grievance may be postponed for later resolution. Any written complaint, whether email, fax, or letter, is considered a grievance. One caveat: a survey is not considered a written grievance unless the patient includes additional documentation with the survey. Grievances can include things like allegations of abuse, neglect, patient harm, or hospital compliance with CMS requirements. Billing is not usually considered a grievance, but may become a grievance if the patient refuses to pay because of care treatment issues. Most medical organizations delegate the grievance process to a department or committee dedicated to handling grievances. That department is made of patient advocates, related managers, or a formal oversight committee. If the grievance is not resolved within 7 days, that grievance committee is required to advise the patient that more time is needed to resolve the grievance, advise how much longer that period of time will be, and when the patient can expect follow-up. A grievance is only considered resolved when the patient is satisfied with the actions taken on their behalf. If the hospital feels that they have taken reasonable steps to resolve the grievance and the patient remains unsatisfied, the hospital can close the grievance but must maintain documentation. To file a complaint with CMS about a medical provider, about quality of care, contact the Beneficiary and Family Centered Care Quality Improvement Organization, known as BFCC-QIO for your area. The role of the BFCC-QIO is to monitor and improve the care given to Medicare enrollees. They review complaints about the quality of care provided by physicians, hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, home health agencies, and ambulatory surgery centers. Quality of care grievances include a medication mistake, developing an infection during a stay in a facility, receiving the wrong care or treatment, or running into barriers to receiving care. To find out which BFCC-QIO serves your state or territory and how to contact them, call 1-800-MEDICARE. You can also contact the statewide Health Insurance Benefits Advisor, also known as SHIVA, at 1-800-562-6900. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, you can choose to make complaints about the quality of care you receive through your plan's grievance process, through the BFCC-QIO, or both. The important thing to remember is that you do have options.